Hi, this is MarqueeCrew, and I'd like to help to answer a question that was posted to the Alteryx community regarding a crew macro. The question is about sync crew block all records via action, which I'll explain is a single macro. And what it does is it allows you to block all records or allow all records to come through. And so in this configuration, everything is blocked from coming through, or all the data can come through. And what the user is asking is that they've got a lot of these blocks that are happening throughout the workflow. And what they want to do is turn them all on or all off via a switch. Well, in thinking through that option and what could we do for it, I thought that this would work, that within the workflow configuration, we could create a variable called block all records and set that to being true. But it turns out within a macro, it's not able to reach this constant. So I couldn't just set it to true once for the workflow and make it just happen throughout the workflow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through another process to be able to achieve that result. I'm going to use a filter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a custom filter on. And what I did was on the workflow configuration, I created a constant block all records. You name it whatever you want. And so what you do is you press the little plus sign here, and you could create something like block. And then you could put for a value anything you wanted. I'm using true because it works so well with the filter. So I've now created just this other block version, which we could play with if we wanted to. So in this custom filter, I'm just saying, if I type in block, you'll see user.block. I'll switch over to that new constant that we created. And remember, I set that to true. Well, just for the fun of it, I'm going to set it to false and hit run. And I've got two of these filters on the workflow. They could be anywhere on the workflow. And what it's going to do is this one, which was block, which was set to false, you got 4 records that came through here, but this one, which is block all records, was set to true. So if I had some special logic that was happening, instead of blocking, you could have said, this is testing, test all records. You could come in here and you could have a special field here, field X, and that could be test. And then you could have copy, paste. This could be prod. And you could have that data going into a union, and when this is set to user block, it's going to come in here and everything's going to become test. And if I flip that user block to being, whoops, touch the white space on the canvas mark, go to workflow, user block, I'm going to say true, run, and again, this could be test versus prod. All of this data is coming out as prod. It could be that when I go into test, maybe what I'm doing there is I'm going to, sorry about that. The preparation tools are hiding from me, so I'm going to just sample. maybe I just wanted to sample the first 2 records. And so if I go and I set the block back to being false for anything, because it's not true, now you only get 2 records through. So if I programmatically want to cause all sorts of things to happen in my workflow, like maybe we're going to go and write this to an output file, and I'm going to use a custom filter, or I could use I have to use a custom filter. User block equals false. If it's false, I'm going to actually output it to a file, which I'm just going to pick a location here. File, sorry for the delay here. I'm going to put it onto my desktop. This is going to another screen. Test.yxdb. Or what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it to a browse. Or maybe I'm going to put it to a database. Or maybe I'm going to put it somewhere else. So I've got one place to put it if it's testing and one place to put it if it's production or something like that. And so in this case, I'm going to come back to that workflow, the block, and say that that is true and run. Well, user.block. Let's take a look at what I did. User.block is true. I should have brought my data up here, so I'm a little bit confused. Well, I'd like to be able to do an erase to be able to figure out this user.block is coming up here to true. This user.block is coming down here to false. Oh, yeah, user.block is false. Just for the sake of, because it's not actually, let me just say user.block here, and it's coming up here to this. So I can explain it later, not really important, but the concept is there. So I can decide whether it's going to come to the true or the false. If I put in here, not user.block, it's coming down here. So I may want to set that Boolean variable up slightly differently, but if it's not user.block, it's coming down here. And again, it could be output files, it could be whatever you're doing. But the thing is, I could have many different types of things, or I could be using this user block to make work in the workflow follow a path that it's only doing, and it does it for everything, based on a workflow constant. Sorry for the confusion in the demonstration there, but this might be a way for you to conditionally execute logic without the detour being present, and you having a little bit of control then over, hey, I wanted to do this stuff versus that stuff, and not have to worry about changing all of the containers or detours or filters that you've got. Use one of these constants, these user constants, and get to that great result. If you've got questions about this, let me know, but it seems like I've got phone calls coming in and gotta run. Bye.